And we're back.
Okay, so we went to see 2 different movies yesterday, which
That's
was
right.
kind of just really putting ourselves out there. We're doing this. We're doing this like crazy. And we picked 2 movies that we think, maybe are a little bit smaller.
Right.
And, we're trying to get things on their opening weekend.
We're reviewing things that you might be on the fence about. And so take it from us, the Cinema Squirrel experts.
Yes, and we don't know if this is a good strategy for us or whatever, but it's a strategy and we're going to try.
Yeah.
And so the first movie we're going to be talking about today in this video is Code 3.
Code 3, about EMS paramedics.
If I had to sum this movie up, I would say, man, that training video sucked me in a bit.
Ooh. I see, yes. Mm-hmm.
Yes. Tell me what you thought about Code 3.
I liked some of it. When it had heart, it was great.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And I know we've seen Rainn Wilson in interviews saying, hey, paramedics have seen this movie and gone, hey, you get us. Well, goodness. That's the dark humor that paramedics must have to do that job. And as a normal civilian squirrel, it was somewhat disturbing to me and upsetting.
Yes, and that's what I mean by training video.
Mm-hmm.
I think that in his interview on The Daily Show, Rainn Wilson talked about that the person who wrote the movie had been a paramedic. This definitely felt like shop talk to me.
Right.
And really, it did give you a lot of insight to being a paramedic. And I'm not going to say that that's a bad thing,
Right.
But, we were watching this review of the show, The Paper. And one line that stuck out to me in this person's review was that it's like maybe dramatic actors trying to do comedy. Mm-hmm. And when I was watching Code 3, I almost felt like, is this comedic actors doing a drama / training video?
Oh.
There was a lot of funny people in the movie.
Right.
But I didn't really feel like it was supposed to be a funny movie.
Shout out to, oh my goodness, who was his partner, the driver? He was great.
Yeah.
Dang it.
Sorry, I don't know.
Should have written down names. Sorry.
Yeah.
Rob Riggle was the doctor who was a bit of an ass hat. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he played that perfectly. Mm-hmm. And, but yeah.
And from Community, the person who was assigning him to his shifts.
Right. Oh, that's where she's from.
Yeah,
Thank you. That was bugging me. Yes, that was bugging me during the film. Where is the managerial position, dispatchers style person? I can't think of her correct title. Man, we're good at this reviewing thing.
So
anyway, she was great. Yeah. Yes. She was a fully rounded character for being the foil to Rainn Wilson's I'm quitting, and she was always, no, you're not. And
right.
Kind of knew him, really.
Right. So it was a lot of people we've seen from comedies in kind of more dramatic role. And our good old friend Dwight Schrute, now Randy Gray, I believe his name was, in this movie.
Something along those lines. Once again, we're great.
Is not really, so the movie opens and he's got a new person. Well, it opens with one person observing who ends up horrific experience. That person goes quickly. The next trainee type person comes in, and it's a little bit Dwight Schrute, but more serious, not as as crazed or something, but just kind of he's showing her the ropes, but he seems like he's maybe unhappy about it. He's over this job. He's burning out, but he's been doing it for 18 years and nobody lasts anywhere near that long. She shows him some respect at some point during this shift, and you get the feeling that's the first time anyone's ever...
That's what I got from that scene, that she stopped for a second and apologized and said, "You're right, I was wrong." And the look on his face, Rainn Wilson's acting, top notch, top season 7 and 8 of The Office kind of Rainn Wilson. Sorry, Rainn, I know you're trying to get away from Dwight, but it was great. Like you said, his face, he portrayed like, I've never heard someone say you're right before. Everyone's kind of a dick. You can bleep that. So
we won't.
Maybe we won't.
In fact, in the movie, they talk about dictator, and they make like a little joke on that word. Yeah, that comes through a lot. But similarly to The Office, there's a lot of turning to address the camera periodically, to address the camera directly.
Right, and they weren't too consistent with that, so it did feel jarring to me when Rainn Wilson did turn and talk directly at the audience. They did not really, to me anyway, they did not establish that at the start, and then when it happened, I'm like, what's going on?
I think it was more Ferris Bueller than The Office.
Yeah, true.
But yeah, I felt like the movie, like, it really did. It did really suck me in. I think the tone was a little all over the place. Sometimes tragic, bodily harm is used a little bit for laughs. Sometimes it's used straight up, like, to make you aware of what EMS workers have to face, the burden they are taking off our just like collective societal shoulders by being the people who are the first to look in a car, depending on the circumstances. And,
I think it definitely showed like there needs to be some sort of a look at the mental health in these emergency services departments. Like, people kind of need some support, and I don't think they have it. And that definitely came across. Like, people get burnt out in this job very quickly, and they even throw out some stats at the start. I appreciated like showing everybody's wage. Like, doctors get 300 and something thousand a year, and then it just goes down the line to police, and the janitor earns more than the EMS paramedics. And Rainn Wilson said, like, most paramedics burn out after 2 years. And when they said, how long have you been doing it? And he definitely paused, and a look in his eyes of like, oh my goodness, I'm about to say 18 years.
Right.
Which was kind of whoa.
Yeah, and I think, when you look at every teacher, police officer,
Right.
Social worker, all your different community helpers. And I work at a library, and I occasionally, it's mostly gentle stuff for me in the children's department, but I'm not, a stranger to some occasional intense things and people in situations where, like, say in this, you have your regulars, and clearly these EMS workers had their regulars. They had sort of nicknames
Right.
for people. They knew they had a relationship with some of the people that they would routinely have to come check on. And they had ways of dealing with them, and they clearly had ways to also avert excessive paperwork, or try to get people help that they wouldn't otherwise get, or even try to get in the way of a potential officer-involved shooting. This movie really gets into a lot of stuff, and that's why it's sort of almost felt like a training video or shop talk or like a therapy session. I felt like the writer was kind of like pulling from all of their experiences, and maybe it was cathartic to write this, I'm sure.
I'll bet, yeah.
But I think sometimes it's like, oh, do I want these funny people to be funny, or do I want these funny people to, like, there were times when I was just like, oh, how far is this movie going to go? Are they going to take us into the backseat of a car and see something super tragic?
Right.
And throughout, there is this character, the sort of trainee person, and there's a big twist at the end. The trainee person is not exactly who you think she is.
Which made me think, would she have been allowed to do that? But Sure, go with it, because it works in the film. She says she wants to be a paramedic. She's a trainee, and then it turns out, no, she's not.
No, she's not. She's got a little more authority, and she's able to, yeah, there's just kind of a nice twist at the end. And what do I want to say about it? Just that, like, it almost was like wish fulfillment for the writer or something. Like, did this really happen? Is this the kind of thing that would happen? Or is it like so many years of being the recipient of smugness from doctors that this storyline was part to be like, yeah, and I would love it if something like this happened.
Right.
And somebody said this and it turned out they were this, you know. So I felt like the writer was you know, channeling a lot of personal feeling about their job.
Oh, sure.
And
especially in the, like you've already mentioned, like, they don't shy away from, when you've been in a job a long time, you know how to bypass things. And like they said, you don't die in the ambulance.
Right.
And because the paperwork is atrocious, and it's like, yikes, that's dark.
Right.
That's dark humor and dark reality of the job, I guess.
Yes. And having some insight into things like what the role that insurance companies are playing, the role that lawsuits are playing,
right.
Whatever, you know, and how people make their decisions, and the role of the EMS, just getting the person there and then it's out of their hands. And from the movie, at least, you get the feeling a lot of times it's not working out. I don't know about you, but I felt like I was laughing at completely different parts of the movie than the other people who were in the theater with us. Did you feel like that at all?
Yes. Some of the things the other audience members laughed at were horrific, really. I guess that, you know, if you don't want to scream or cry, you laugh as a sort of maybe defense mechanism, but they don't shy away either about showing what EMS have to deal with.
Yeah.
If it's a traffic accident or whatever. And some of the things they roll up on are pretty graphic. And yeah, we heard some chuckles about just the poor biker talking while, anyway. Yeah. So he was talking while he was in distress. Let me put it that way, not tell you what was going on with him. But yeah, I could hear the 2 or 3 other people in the audience chuckling away, and I'm like, I'm not sure that's funny, but okay, maybe you're laughing out of nervousness or something.
I felt like they were enjoying other aspects of the movie, and then I would laugh when I didn't hear other people laughing. So I don't know. I think there's different styles of humor present in this movie, and some people might find some things entertaining that I took a little more like seriously. But I felt like there was kind of an activist feel to it in a way, at least in the sense of like, hey, do you want a job that makes you feel like you're making a difference? Also trying to make you aware of, you know, the red tape and stuff that's standing in the way of certain people getting certain kinds of help.
Sure. And a job that might wreck you mentally. Because, boy, it looks like it does.
And I didn't feel like we really knew. I felt like I knew more about all the side characters. Almost everybody had an anecdote except Rainn Wilson's character. He was almost just like, I am EMS, you know, and I don't really have a life outside of it, which was kind of an interesting take. Another thing was that, did you notice just all the brands, all the like fake food brands and stuff throughout?
Oh, no, actually I didn't.
Oh, really?
Wow.
I think of that as something that you would be into.
Normally I do pick up on that.
But
not this time. I think I was more engaged with the characters and not noticing if it was Frepsy Cola or something.
This movie was full of fake brands left and right on posters and,
which makes me think
vending machines.
That maybe they approached like regular brands and they were like, we've looked at this movie. No, thank you. It's too real. It's just too much. We don't want Coca-Cola being in this. Thank you very much. So have Smoke a Smola. Thank you.
Yeah. I do think this movie has it does have a message that, you know, multiple messages trying to get through that are various characters get to talk about like things that motivated them and why they wanted to make a difference and things about like the entire healthcare system that went wrong for people in their family. Okay, I just lost my train of thought, but you pick it up, Squirrel.
I think I appreciated that, it was mainly about paramedics. They do interact with some police, and the police were kind of portrayed as like one-note villains, which is different because it's all like public safety. You would think they would all be, in it together. And I guess at some point, Rainn Wilson does talk to a police officer, knows his name. They've been around before, and he calls him by his first name, like, please get this person out of this scene while I'm trying to save a life.
Right.
But there's a scene with somebody who is mentally troubled, a veteran, who thinks he's the president of the United States. And when the police show up, I was genuinely frightened, as were some characters. They immediately draw their guns, and it's like, is that procedure when you've got paramedics in between you and the person you're worried about? Do you just pull your gun? That seemed very, very scary. Scared me anyway.
Right, and I guess that's where this movie feels more like a ride-along, like a training video ride-along. Like, and really, by the end of this shift, like most of the movie is counting down, like a 24-hour shift?
Yeah, is that true too?
I don't know.
That seems dangerous to have your paramedics on a 24-hour shift.
Yeah.
Do they then get a 24 hours off? I don't know, because
I don't know.
Rainn Wilson was like, take me off this week's schedule, and she couldn't. The supervisor could not do that. She was like, we're short-staffed.
Right.
But yeah, 24 hours shift seems terrifying to me.
But after you've kind of gone along on that many calls with them and had that many snacks with them and just kind of like, I felt that I was starting to feel like a coworker like affection for the characters near the end. So it was almost like, what was this movie? I don't know. I feel like it was my first day on the job too. And by the end of it, I was like, yeah, man, EMS. We went through it today. Like, I feel like we were right there in the car with them and the experience.
Well, that is interesting that's your level of empathy. What I took from it was, I am thankful for public safety, EMS, paramedics. I'm super thankful for all those people. I could not do that job. So that was where my brain was like, my goodness, the things you have to deal with. Yikes.
Yeah.
How do you do it? How do you wake up and just do that job? I don't know.
Yvette Nicole Brown. That was the person that I was...
From Community.
Yes.
She was great.
My notes. Well, yeah. Another little thought I had, there's a point where they think he's leaving and there's like a big celebration for him. And I was reminded that a lot of times we're only celebrated when we're leaving. And maybe as a society we should think about celebrating people for staying more often.
Right.
That's just a side thought. And also...
That's one question for me. Is like, yes, and spoilers ahead. Rainn Wilson does indeed get another job. He stops being a paramedic. You get 2-3 scenes of him at the new job, and obviously he does not like it.
And he's not going to fit in.
He's not going to fit in, and then he is back at the old job.
Right. Kind
of happy, kind of like, I know where I'm supposed to be, but also like, I don't know. What was the time frame? Like, I could not work out. Was that literally 2 or 3 days at the other job and he's right back?
Well, she never filed his quitting paperwork.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so
it's a short amount of time from like, here's a going away gift. We're all sad to see you go. You're back?
Yeah.
It's Thursday. You left on Tuesday.
I feel like maybe she knew he was coming back. And
that's true. Yeah.
And it feels like maybe going to a different type of job. Throughout the movie, there's kind of the question, like, are they heroes or not heroes? Apparently, they're not heroes in order to get free coffee from the restaurant, but they are heroes getting, like, some applause at one point when they're helping a kid, and just the whole, like, why are they doing this? Are they making a difference? I mean, I think they're making a difference, surely.
Sure.
But
totally.
But yeah.
And I've never, like, like I said, it's not based on a true story. It's based on events that have happened to the writer.
Mm-hmm.
So the writer was a South Carolina paramedic, I believe.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and so it's stories from this person's past, so I'm willing to believe them. But I've never wanted to shout, "Get a real job" at a paramedic. That is a real job. I don't know what the first character we meet who's like, "Hey, why you parking your ambulance there? Move your ambulance, get a real job." It's like, what was that guy talking about?
I've never witnessed any, well, no. I have witnessed one lady be rude to paramedics, but she was very intoxicated and she didn't really want to have to pay for an ambulance ride, and she was shouting, "Medical mafia!" And I was like,
yikes, whoa.
Lady, cool it. Because I think they're about to get your hair in the Velcro here. Well,
maybe it does happen. I'm here to say thank you, paramedics.
Yes,
that is a
really,
real job.
Seriously, we salute you, and yeah, I felt like I got a lot of insight to the job, and I'm glad I had that experience. Oh yeah, and I also think that I appreciated that. I feel like the ride-along sort of trainee character, she may have been sort of representing the more millennial outlook on things.
Yeah.
And I think she was almost like, hey, everyone here's a doctor. And, and I think that that's really refreshing when people are not clinging as much to hierarchy and titles and just recognize that everyone is serving, in the library world. Are you a librarian or not a librarian is a thing. And I always appreciate the people who aren't so hung up on the hierarchy. And I think Rainn Wilson, maybe seeing that this character, seeing her way of looking at him, probably helped his self-esteem in general. I think when he returned to the job, he really had more of a sense that he was proud of himself, and he did think there was a real point and there was a reason he was there, and he was no longer burned out. He was more on a mission. He was more energized for the work.
He sort of found where he should be and kind of accepted it and was happy about that choice.
Yeah. So shout out to the millennial manager mentality.
Right.
Because you are helping improve workplaces left and right, I gotta say. Okay.
All right, so sheet cake.
Code 3. I don't. Here's the thing. This movie is very different. It's almost not like a movie to me. It's more like a ride-along training video with a bit of a story arc. So for me, I guess I would give it like 75% of a sheet cake, because I was drawn in. I was not bored. Occasionally I was a little confused by the tone. I think I walked away with a lot of perspective.
Yes,
but
definitely.
It wasn't exactly what I would consider a movie with as much in the way of like plot and characters and storyline as I look for in a movie.
Sure, I agree with that. 75% sheet cake. I would give it 4 out of 5 AED zaps to the chest.
Okay, so we're about the same.
About the same.
Yeah, about
it's good.
75-80%.
But yeah, the tone can be off, and that can throw you.
Yeah. It goes from comedic to horrific, like constantly.
Very quickly.
And sometimes you just are kind of feeling the slog. And I feel like that was the point. And it's a worthy experience to go along on. And I'm glad we got to experience it.
All right. Let's talk about that other film right after these messages.